you want with it? Right? Cut now. Yes. Can you still see him?
Okay, now.
Put more in.
All right, here we go.
If he's still visible, keep going.
Here
I
we
like
go,
my
and-
J-Dog iced tea. Do your awkward.
Full.
Oh. Power Ranger. Excuse my French, but yeah.
They just look up to you is all. I'm naked now.
Well, no, not until we flushed out Starlight and Butcher.
Well,
You're the
Butcher's
bait.
probably dead.
What?
Nothing.
I love guys like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
Where he
A glass of milk. No, Steven, no. Just, I'll have a Manhattan. Also have a Manhattan. Thank you.
Me, and I'll give you this delicious. You wanna me like do it again?
I seen Firecracker. She wanted to come on the pod.
Firecracker.
Firecracker. Yo, you guys know where Firecracker is?
Get out of here.
Sorry, an alien just trying to make contact?
I should not do that, Grunt. I'm sorry.
Information most folks can't count.
Follow me, fellow travelers.
Look for rumors!
Little spray, a fresh dose of pine scent, and a big smell that smells like ass, like real ass, mixed with vomit. That was amazing. We don't need to go any further, do we?
Yeah. I haven't shaved in a really long time.
Oh, shit. You look great, dude.
Hey, man.
It's a whole new thing, I know.
the indescribable feeling we get when the lights go down. You can't laugh in front of.
You mean the first generation V, Soldier Blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't have had those crackers.
Okay. Up. You shortened shut the up to just the last two
Just
words? Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. The boys released more deleted scenes from Season 5, mostly featuring Homelander in the main cast. There's a ton of footage here from across all the season, all the episodes, and the video is very long, so I'm just going to focus on like the bigger deleted scenes with the core characters, especially the Season 5 ending with Homelander. Some of these deleted scenes are so hardcore, you could definitely tell they really tried to go as over the top as possible with the final episodes. The reason why there's so many more Homelander deleted scenes versus the other characters is because he's had way more screen time, way more scenes than the other characters this season. After the first couple of seasons, like by season 3, it had kind of turned into the Homelander show, just because he was the most popular character by far. So no surprise he had way more screen time than most of the other characters this final season, and a lot of the scenes do look like Anthony Starr improvising some of his lines and trying different ideas. The showrunner Eric Kripke also said that Anthony Starr came up with a big portion of Homelander's death scene and the way that final battle between Butcher and Homelander went at the end. Anthony Starr would come up with his ideas for what Homelander would be doing in this final moment, and they would just write it into the show, so like they just filmed it that way. So if you had a lot of visceral reactions to what was coming out of Homelander's mouth, what he was spouting to Butcher as he was about to die, that came straight from Anthony Starr. And it seems like a lot of the biggest deleted scenes here are him just trying to get through a lot of his actual final scenes, with him begging Butcher for his life after realizing he's lost his powers.
You want with it? Right? Cut now. Yes.
There was a lot of confusion about what was going on here during my finale video, why he went down so easily after he lost his powers. He and Butcher have a very short man-on-man brawl without powers, just a good old-fashioned bar brawl, knockdown, drag-out fight. And if you didn't pick up on this in the later seasons, they didn't really address this directly a ton, mostly just implied it in the final few episodes. Homelander felt like he was nothing without powers. He didn't even exist as a person, like his whole personality was Homelander, the costume itself. So his real name they gave him when he was born was just John. They didn't even bother to give him a last name because he was just a product to them. Just a glorified poster boy to be used to help Vought market and sell all their billions of products and services. Like Stan Edgar, when he created him, came up with the idea to make Homelander, just intended him to be Vought's glorified mascot. That's really all superheroes, not just Homelander, were ever to Stan Edgar. He only cared about them and what they were able to do to help Vought sell their services. And at a certain point in the previous seasons, he decided the superheroes were too much of a liability for him, and it'd be more profitable for Vought to just sell the temporary Compound V to the military. In long term, it would be much better for Vought to just turn into a pure pharmaceutical company instead of a company kind of like Disney in real life, if Disney's superheroes, like the Marvel superheroes, were actually real and actually had powers. Vought is basically like a version of Disney if you think about it. This is why Homelander was raised in such a traumatic way, such a terrible way, which also caused him to become the monster you see in present day with the broken mind and just going crazy on everybody. They had a lot of deleted scenes of younger Homelander in the earlier seasons, but for whatever reason, they cut these out of the actual episodes. They're actually really good, so I'm actually kind of bummed that they didn't make it into the final episodes. I feel like there's a show that they could do about a young Homelander. So he grows up and his entire identity just becomes this costume. That's the way he was engineered to be. The Homelander name, the persona, but it's all smoke and mirrors, is just fake. There's nothing there behind that. So without that, he had no idea who he was, and in that moment, when he loses everything, his powers, he's terrified for the first time in his life, like for real. This is the first time he's actually felt genuine fear. Really just sounds like he needs some therapy. He needs a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a whole host of mental health professionals. Does Vought have any on retainer? Are there any that we can get on the phone? Speaking of which, thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video. I know I'm supposed to be invincible and post videos every day no matter what, but a couple times in the past few years, I gotten so sick that I could barely crawl to the microphone. I finally caved and decided to see a doctor, but since moving to a new part of town, it was an absolute nightmare trying to find a doctor to see based on my healthcare plan. It was almost worse than actually being sick. Figuring everything out sucked until I learned about ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click instantly to book an appointment. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or one of the other 150-plus specialties offered on ZocDoc, you can easily search by specialty or symptom to build the healthcare team that's right for you. ZocDoc makes it easy to book an in-network appointment with more than 150,000 providers across 50 states. ZocDoc also helps you get appointments really fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments sometimes. No need to call a doctor's office. ZocDoc lets you do everything online. So if you're like me and you usually wait till you're about to die to go see the doctor, stop waiting and go get yourself the care that you need. Go to my link here, I'll put it up on screen and down in the description below, ZocDoc.com/emergencyawesome to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/emergencyawesome. Get yourself the right kind of help, and thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring this. And Eric Kripke said that it was Anthony Starr's idea to really lay it on thick with his begging to Butcher, sucking him off, giving him control of Vought, doing anything to avoid Butcher actually killing him. Also because he was hopeful that at some point, Homelander was hopeful that he'd be able to find a shot of the regular Compound V, which would give him his powers back instantly and he'd be back to normal. So he's also kind of scrambling in this moment for time, delay the beatdown long enough for me to find more Compound V. The other question a lot of people had after this finale was why Homelander was such a terrible fighter, why it was so easy for Butcher to lay him out like a sack of potatoes, like he did not last a second. You could think of this as the Superman Henry Cavill problem. During the Man of Steel movie, his whole life Superman had never been trained how to actually fight. He was trying to purposefully avoid fighting his whole life, so the minute that he gets into a fight with someone of equal power levels, the Kryptonians, who have trained to fight their whole lives, they're badasses, Ursa is able to lay him out easily. Now eventually he did learn how to use his powers in a fight, but it did take a minute for that to happen. And it's the same deal with Homelander. Like, he eventually probably could have learned how to fight like a normal person, but he would have had to actually train to do it. And he never learned how to do that when he was growing up because he never needed to, because he was so god-tier powerful. The human bodies to him were kind of like tissue paper. There were actually a number of times in the series they used this for like WTF comedy, like really dark comedy, where he would push on people with a single finger and it would just explode them. So the minute he loses that advantage, he has no idea what to do, and he's a terrible fighter and goes down quickly. This is also why he has zero confidence and he is so quick to turn to begging. A lot of people were confused by that too. Why would he beg for his life that way? Well, because he felt so weak and so helpless in that moment. There were also scenes in Season 3 when Butcher got the temporary Compound V powers and they did fight each other with powers. Homelander fared a little better then, but Butcher was still able to go toe-to-toe with him pretty easily because Homelander still was not that great of an actual fighter because he didn't ever have to be a good fighter, and Butcher had trained his whole life to fight this way. Add to that, Butcher does not care if he dies in the attempt, meaning that he does not hold back. So it's basically taking like his 10-level fighting and cranking it up to 11 with the powers, and Homelander has just never pushed himself in that way before. So when it comes to just good old-fashioned bar brawling, Butcher is an expert at that. Homelander has never even attempted it in his life. Eric Kripke also said the main reason why they chose to kill Homelander, like perma-kill him, instead of forcing him to live without powers, because that was his nightmare. He was ranting about it in previous episodes, so it was a big theory that they would just force him to live without powers. Was mostly because the writers felt like if Homelander had lived, he would have always have hoped of finding more Compound V and getting his powers back. There always would have been a small chance that he somehow would have been able to get his hands on some more Compound V, getting his powers back, completely undoing everything that the boys' finale did, and they didn't want that in the writers' room, so the only solution for that was to like perma-kill him in the finale. There are a lot of you that I saw had theories that Vought would try to clone Homelander at some point in the future because Stan Edgar just reasserted his control over the company. It's like, business as usual, we're just going to start making more superheroes and making more money.
Something else will just take their place. Because corporations must still grow.
There was an actual Homelander clone in the comics, but the comics ended in a very different way from the TV show, and Clone Homelander in the comics also ended as another disaster for Vought for very different reasons, but almost an even bigger disaster than TV show Homelander was. Like, if you think the TV show Homelander was crazy, Clone Homelander from the comics was even worse. Currently in the Boys universe right now, like after the finale, Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy spinoff series is like the new main Boys series as they're talking about it. My early theory as to why there was no Soldier Boy payoff in the finale, because there are a lot of deleted scenes with him, even a scene of him in the cryotube with Homelander sticking him back in the cryotube, is because maybe they're just saving the reveal of what happens to him after the finale for the Vought Rising episodes. Like Vought Rising episode 1, they can just say there's a little time jump. Stan Edgar pulls him out of cryo after he's fixed the company or started fixing the Vought company, and then tells Soldier Boy what happened during the Boys finale and about Homelander's death. And because we know most of that show is supposed to take place in the 1950s, Soldier Boy in the present day, like later in the timeline, can start to remember his past with the V1 and Stormfront because it's what Clara would have wanted, like post all the memes, because it's what Clara would have wanted. And he just remembers the rise of Vought in the 1950s and all those characters that we'll see episode to episode. They're going to be releasing those new episodes early next year, so I'll do weekly episode videos for that, just like I did for the main series and for the Gen V show. We probably see the Gen V characters also show up on the Boys Mexico series and any other spin-offs that they do develop. We will absolutely make all the jokes that the Boys TV show has kind of turned into the parody that it made of the Marvel Universe during earlier seasons too, with all the many different spin-offs that they're developing. Like, they are turning into the meme that they themselves were making. But if you are mad that the Gen V show got canceled before Season 3, they will bring those characters back on the other spin-offs. This is also part of the reason why there aren't a lot of deleted scenes for the Gen V characters during the Boys Season 5 here that they released. Eric Kripke actually said originally they were a much bigger part of Season 5, but then Kevin Feige apparently advised him not to do that with like spin-off characters from another show onto the main show, making them too critical, because a lot of people that watched The Boys Season 5 had not watched Gen V, so they'd be kind of confused about the plot, and it would take away from some of the story of the main characters. You can let me know if you disagree with that. There are a lot of people who were fans of Gen V who are like really pissed off to hear that. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the deleted scenes that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments, or if you have questions about future Boys Universe stuff. I've already done a much bigger video for that Vought Rising trailer. Click here for that, and everybody click here for all my other Boys Season 5 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.